Okay, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. It's great to see you here, and I'm looking forward to showing you a very new tool called Instilled. I think it's likely to be quite different from anything you've seen before, so hopefully the next 20 or so minutes will be quite interesting. I wanted to let you know that I welcome questions as we go, and so you can enter them into the chat window at the bottom of your screen. I'll do my best to answer. Okay, so I want to start with a question. What is LXP? Now, I know its name is a bit similar to things like LMS and LRS and some other tools you will have seen before, but don't get confused by that. LXP is a very different thing again. LXP stands for Learning Experience Platform. These systems have been around for about a year now overseas, but as of today, we're launching one in Australia. LXPs are designed to address the kinds of issues people have had for quite some time now with conventional online training. And as you start seeing them trickle out over the next couple of years, remember you saw it here first. So now I'd like to ask everybody a question. And I'd love to see your thoughts in the chat window. Actually, I've asked a lot of people this. So if we had the chance to go back and re-engineer the way we deliver training online, what would we change? What would we do differently? Please type your thoughts into the chat window at the bottom of the screen while I'll give you about a minute to compile your thoughts. Okay, yes, that's right. A lot of LMSs can be a bit complex to get around, and it does take a lot of clicks to get to things, yeah. Okay, yes, microlearning, definitely. Yes, artificial intelligence, though some LMSs are starting to do a little bit of that these days, but I know what you mean, they're not very good at it yet. That's right. Anything else? So, yes, there are a couple of ideas there. Oh, definitely, yes, 70, 20, 10, yes, good pickup, thank you. Okay, so here's my list. I've compiled it from the questions that people ask me. In fact, we often see these in tender documents. Organisations tend to put these in as criteria for purchasing LMSs, but I suspect they don't often find systems that do them all, if any. Well, that's because LMSs are, frankly, stuck in the past. They're creatures of the 1990s when they were invented. The whole idea of delivering training in that way is something that's now nearly 30 years old. A lot of the things that we're asking for now were just not possible then. So, for example, now we want videos to play over our broadband, but back then I was asked very different questions, such as, will it play in remote areas over a 14K dial-up modem? Also, we're asked these days about collaborative learning. Well, that's great, but in the 1990s, the first social medium, things like MySpace, they were still 10 years, a decade away from being invented. So there was no social media, let alone collaborative learning. And the whole way people thought is that a server was set up to deliver content. No one had ever thought of using a server as a way of receiving content from everybody and then redistributing it. So anyway, we'll return to this slide a little bit later, but I want to launch a microlearning object directly from within Instilled. Now I'm going to play it on my screen for you, but I'd also like to invite you to open it as well. So I'm going to give you a link, and it'll actually probably play a lot better for you if you open it directly inside your browser. So here's the link, and if you click on that, it will open Instilled for you and go directly to the microlearning object that we're looking at together. Okay, so now I've opened my browser as well. So it's actually a presentation, as you can see, about the product. So it's a presentation about Instilled and is playing from within Instilled. So I'm just going to move forward to the first screen in the microlearn. So this is a picture of the LTG suite of products. So this is where Instilled sits within the LTG suite. LTG is a very large learning technologies company, and in fact if you're using our PeopleFluent Net Dimensions LMS, for example, you'll see it's actually part of that suite. So the whole system includes all sorts of things around learning technologies, and this whole suite is owned by the largest learning technology group in the world, LTG. So LTG own Net Dimensions, PeopleFluent. They also own Rustici, who invented XAPI, and we'll talk a little bit about XAPI. It's the most innovative change to e-learning in the last year, really. They also own Gomo Learning. Gomo is an authoring tool. They own a performance tool, and of course now they own Instilled as well. So LTG. So moving along, we can see that Instilled is already in use at some pretty significant organisations internationally. And just looking at the background image here, you can see it's there to make the point that, as you'd expect, this is a tool that's fully responsive and fully mobile compatible. So moving on again, what does Instilled look to do? This is its mission statement. Create a culture of efficient, engaging enterprise learning. Instilled is designed to create engaging experiences and foster interactions between people. It creates common interest groups and encourages people to make their own contributions throughout to create that culture of learning in your organisation. It's bottom up, so people can contribute their own ideas and then build on each other's ideas. It accepts any document, slide set, video, or even a SCORM course, and it plays them all in a single common interface. So you might have seen before that some systems, if you upload a PowerPoint, they'll pop up PowerPoint when you try to open them. That's not the case here. Everything is nice and consistent. Moving on again. So how do they do it? Well, Instilled brings together three parts of the LTG suite that we looked at a moment ago. One of them is Gomo, and many of you will know this as an authoring tool that specialises in responsive design and smart video. We bring in Watershed, which is a learning analytics tool. In fact, if you search learning analytics online, it's usually the first recommendation, as Watershed's such a powerful reporting and analysis tool. Gomo and Watershed are then bonded together by Rustici. For those who have not heard of Rustici, Rustici is the toast of the town at the moment, as they invented the XAPI standard that's solving the 70-20-10 problem. So it's determining how people go when they're on the job. And XAPI is allowing learning technologies to build on that to help teach people in a really practical way. So Rusty worked out how to let online systems interface to people's coalface work, and they did it with XAPI. In Instilled, that same tool is used to add an artificially intelligent back-end that's data-rich, and that means that the entire system can look deceptively simple but do things we've never seen systems do before with our content. By the way, if you want to know more about XAPI, please visit our blog, as Global Vision has posted a number of articles about it recently. Anyway, in summary, Instilled combines a tool for capturing people's ideas, publishing them, refining them, performing unprecedented smarts with what they contribute, and then adds the world's most sophisticated analytics tool to monitor it all. So let's have a look. So this is the Instilled interface. When I first log in, I get featured content. But I can go to all content, and when I do, I see these channels. These are collections of objects around particular topics. They're places where we group together items around a topic, and I've set one up here for you. When I open it, I'm given initially some statistics at the top right. I can see how many objects it contains, how frequently it's been used, and how long it's going to take me to complete everything. I even have a subscribe button here so I can sort of enroll in this topic. The image cards down here represent the materials that people have loaded into this channel, and we see a range of objects of various types. There's some SCORM courses, some videos, a couple of PDF documents, and a PowerPoint or two. So I can upload whatever I want, and I can create sub-channels even within this channel to group items inside it. Now, this looks pretty simple, but as I said, it's deceptively smart. So let's have a quick look at a few things. So I'm just going to go to an object here. Instilled has broken it up into topic chapters for us, so we can navigate really easily. It does that automatically. So here's something else someone's contributed. And you can see that other people have added real-time comments, and it seems to have initiated a pretty good conversation. So all of those comments, all of those additions, will now stay with this microloom. And they're actually part of it now. People have made comments about a particular bit of the video. So what they added is now shown whenever the video reaches that point from now on. Of course, it's moderated automatically. But what I'm saying is that the comments are synchronized to the relevant bits of the video. That's pretty smart. Okay, so let's have a look at another one. You can see that this particular one's got subtitles. But how about I tell it to translate this contribution to Japanese on the fly? So I'll just click on Japanese here, and lo and behold, somebody's contribution is translated automatically. But Instilled is also able to play any e-learning or SCORM courses you might have in your LMS. So I'm going to open one now, and when it does, of course, like any SCORM player, like your LMS, it's bookmarked it. So because this is a SCORM course, I'm being asked whether I want to resume where I left off. I can recover my session. Okay, so if I now return to the channel's home page, I have some quick reporting available. Now this is just a quick view, but I can drill down for far more detailed reports as well, as you'd expect, having Watershed as part of the... But importantly, as a learner, I can make my own contributions and capture my own knowledge. This button here lets me record a video to share my knowledge with my colleagues. So let's do it. I'm going to record a video right now. When I click on this, it's just going to fire up my webcam. Alright, so I'd just like to talk a little bit about Instilled. Instilled is a tool that is intended to address a lot of the problems that we've experienced before with learning management systems, and it addresses a number of the things that have been raised here today. Okay, so as a learner, I've just created a microlearning object. If I want to, I can preview it now, or I can tell Instilled to process it immediately. Now, when it does that, some real magic happens. We got a glimpse of some of that before. So it's going through the video and it's automatically detecting my speech and it's converting everything I said into text. That's pretty powerful. We saw before that that means that it can subtitle it and even translate it into another language if we wanted to. But it also means that what I've just said is now searchable by keyword. Okay, so it's finished processing and it's been added to our channel. Now, anyone who does a search for any of the keywords I used in this microlearning will see it listed in their results. Let's play it. Okay, so this is my little microlearning object playing, and as you see, it's now subtitled, and other people can now add comments to it, and if they do, their comments will be synchronized to the part of my video that relate to their comments. Down here, I can select my language. It's currently set to English, but I can translate it if I want. And because the system has artificial intelligence inside it, it still can even go out now to the internet and link up to other relevant materials, perhaps a blog article, to my learning to build up a comprehensive learning experience based around my knowledge of this topic. So yes, it can curate external materials too. Let's see what else we can do. If I return to my video for a minute and to its reporting icon, I can monitor how it's being used. I can also control who sees it with the sharing option here, and this edit button takes me to the content editor. So in the content editor, I can do things like trim my video to get rid of my coughs and my ums and my ahs. And here is where I can ask it to break my video up into chapters. We saw that before. So it will automatically break up the material into content topics if I want. When I do that, a list of the chapters will appear in this panel over here, so that other people will be able to use them to navigate quickly through my material to get to what they want. Of course, if they search for it, the keyword, the system can actually work out where that keyword was used in my presentation and can jump directly to it. So from a search, it will jump to what they want as well. From here, I can upload a PDF or a PowerPoint slide deck to go with my presentation. Okay, so that's loaded, and it'll let me add timings now to synchronize the slides to my video. So from now on, the slide deck will play alongside my video, as will, of course, any comments people make. So I'll just make a few adjustments to the timeline here. So now when we roll over our timeline, you can see it knows when to pop up each slide. It's a very clever tool indeed. It's so deceptive. When you first look at it, it looks like it's just a set of content cards, but because so much intelligence goes on behind the scenes, Instilled can serve as a full corporate learning system. And as I said at the start, it'll create learning communities and relationships. And of course, it's the most awesome way for you to capture knowledge that exists within your organization. Okay, so finally, I want to play one last object for you to show you how the system can act as a great tool also for live interactions. So if you click on the link here directly in your web browser, you'll get there as well. I'll play it on my screen as well. This is a recording of a person using Instilled to get live help from a colleague. They can see each other, they can chat.
Let's take a look.
And they can share materials.
Most importantly is the ability to comment or ask questions. It's super easy, and after you comment or ask a question, the subject matter expert will be instantly notified and will be able to respond to you. Another cool feature is the ability to skip ahead or go backwards to a specific chapter simply by clicking the name. In addition to chapters, you'll notice sometimes the player contains a playlist. You can see the playlist by clicking here. Just click the video you'd like to watch. There are also a few keyboard shortcuts. To expose the list, hit the Shift and question mark keys simultaneously. Of course, we also have the standard features that most video players have. You can make the video full screen, change the streaming rate, adjust the volume, click ahead or go backwards.
So it's not just for pre-recorded materials, it also works for live materials. So, in summary, we've just seen how Instilled addresses the problems we saw at the outset. It lets everyone record, upload, trim, and even automatically meta tag videos in just a few clicks. We saw the system generate subtitles, translate materials, make them searchable, and link resources to documents and slides and even to external blog articles. We saw that it can play your SCORM courses, a bit like an LMS does, report on everything, facilitate live interactions, and even deliver microlearning. It does chat really well in that comments are contextualized and synchronized to the material. And because Watershed is built in, the #1 analytics tool in the world, it has the bee's knees reporting. And it's all done in an XAPI framework that's designed to support 70-20-10. Just a reminder from earlier that you can find out more about XAPI in our blog, and you can access that from our website. It'll help organisations build learning cultures and make learning so much more interactive, efficient, quick, and in fact, fun. So thank you for sharing your time with me, and if you have any questions, I'll be around for a couple of minutes, and I welcome any in the chat forum below. Otherwise, thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Talk soon. Bye now.